Lovely viewers, gather close because today's story is one that will make your hearts race, your eyes tear up, and your minds wonder how love, fate, and emotions can collide so strongly in one unforgettable moment. Imagine a glamorous reunion party filled with lights, laughter, cameras, and stars. Now picture the tension of old flames, unresolved heartbreaks, and a surprise kiss that no one saw coming. Yes, this is exactly what happened when Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo stunned the entire entertainment world at their reunion, leaving none other than Joong visibly shaken and in tears. This isn't just a party story. It's an emotional roller coaster where love, loss, and loyalty all came crashing into one evening that fans will never forget. Can you picture the scene, lovely friends? The reunion party was buzzing with life. A luxurious ballroom, chandeliers glittering like stars, music playing softly in the background while A-list celebrities walked around in dazzling outfits. Fans outside screamed as flashes from paparazzi cameras lit up the entrance. Everyone knew this was not just any event. It was the reunion of Korea's biggest stars, a night meant to celebrate friendships, accomplishments, and perhaps even reconciliations. And in the middle of this glittering gathering, three names silently carried the weight of history, love, and heartbreak: Lee Min-ho, Hye Kyo, and Joong. From the start, the atmosphere was already thick with curiosity. Guests whispered, "Will Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho interact tonight? Will Joong join them?" The three of them hadn't been seen together at such a public event in years. Their paths had crossed indirectly through gossip, rumors, and stories, but never in such an open, charged environment. For fans watching the live streams and scrolling through social media updates, the anticipation felt like the calm before storm. Then came the moment that changed everything. Lee Min-ho, looking as striking as ever in a perfectly tailored black suit, entered the hall with his signature charm. His presence alone made heads turn, cameras click, and fans swoon. Hye Kyo followed not long after, dressed in a breathtaking gown that shimmered under the lights, every step she took reminding the world why she remains a timeless queen of beauty and grace. And then Joong, elegant in his own right, but with a quiet seriousness etched on his face, walked in. The triangle of emotions had finally entered the same room, and you could almost hear the collective gasp of those watching. Now, lovely viewers, I want you to imagine yourself at that party. You're standing at the edge of the hall, drink in hand, heart pounding as you watch the three of them finally under the same roof. Would you rush to capture the moment on your phone? Would you hold your breath, waiting for what might unfold? Because trust me, the drama that came next was more than anyone could have scripted. Lee Min-ho, ever the gentleman, approached Hye Kyo first. Their eyes met, and in that second time seemed to stop. Fans watching described it as electricity, an unspoken connection that no one could deny. They smiled, they exchanged a few words, and the crowd around them seemed to fade. For Joong, standing just a few feet away, the sight was overwhelming. The woman he once loved so deeply, the man admired for his confidence and charm, sharing a moment that stirred old wounds and unhealed scars. The room fell into whispers, cameras flashed furiously, and then the shocker, the kiss. Lee Min-ho, with a sudden but tender gesture, leaned in and kissed Hye Kyo. It wasn't long, it wasn't staged. It was natural, emotional, and enough to make the entire hall freeze. Gasps echoed across the ballroom. Fans online went wild, and everyone knew they had just witnessed something unforgettable. But while many cheered for this bold display of affection, not everyone's heart could take it. Joong's reaction was what shook fans even more. Standing just a few steps away, his face crumbled with emotion. Those who saw him said his eyes glistened with tears, his lips trembling as if he wanted to speak but couldn't. He turned away, trying to hide his pain, but cameras caught every second. Joong, the man who once held Hye Kyo's heart, was breaking down in front of the world. Now, my dear viewers, let me ask you, if you were in Joong's shoes, watching the person you once called your forever love being kissed passionately by another man, how would you feel? Would you stay composed, or would your emotions take over like his did? This question has divided fans all over social media, with some sympathizing with him and others praising Min-ho and Hye Kyo for embracing their love so openly. The internet exploded that night. Twitter trends were dominated by hashtags like hashtag #MinHyoKiss, hashtag #JoongKeTears, and hashtag #Unforgettable Reunion. Some fans cried out of happiness, others cried out of sorrow. "This is too much for my heart," one fan tweeted, while another wrote, "I can't believe I saw Joong-ki cry like that. He deserves so much better." But equally, fans flooded comment sections with support for Min-ho and Hye Kyo, saying love always finds its way and that their connection was undeniable. The reunion party itself became secondary to the drama unfolding between the trio. Celebrities who were present later revealed how the energy in the room completely shifted. Some said they felt the tension, others described it as bittersweet beauty. One insider whispered, "It was like watching a love story and a heartbreak unfold at the same time, right in front of us." As the night continued, Song Joong-ki excused himself quietly, wiping his tears as he left the hall. Cameras followed him, and fans noticed how broken he looked. Meanwhile, Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo remained at the party, surrounded by friends and supporters, but undeniably aware of the storm their kiss had caused. They smiled, they laughed, but their eyes... Oh, lovely viewers, their eyes told a deeper story, one of passion, longing, and perhaps even guilt for the pain caused. And so, the world continues to ask, was this kiss a declaration of love, a moment of weakness, or simply fate pulling two hearts together no matter the consequences? Was Song Joong-ki's breakdown the result of unresolved feelings, or was it the painful closure he never asked for but desperately needed? These are the questions echoing across fan communities today, and everyone seems to have a different answer. But let's not just watch from afar, dear viewers. Let's make this interactive. Do you believe Lee Min-ho's kiss was spontaneous? Or do you think it was something he had wanted to do for a long time? And what about Song Hye Kyo? Was her response acceptance, or was she caught off guard? Comment below what your heart tells you, because this story is more than just entertainment. It's a reflection of how complicated love and emotions can be. The beauty and the pain of this moment will be remembered for years. Fans will replay the kiss, Joong-ki's tears, and the stunned reactions over and over again. But in the end, one truth stands clear. Love is unpredictable, and when it collides with past heartbreak, it can create moments that shake the world. Lovely viewers, this is only the beginning of the story. The reunion party may have ended that night, but the ripples of Lee Min-ho's kiss, Song Hye Kyo's acceptance, and Song Joong-ki's breakdown will continue to echo in the days, weeks, and even years to come. And as fans, we will be here, watching, feeling, and sharing every step of the journey. In fact, what happened afterward carried just as much weight, and it's what turned this night into a memory that people will talk about for years. We left off with Joong-ki quietly walking out, tears streaming down his face, cameras capturing every painful second. But what happened behind those doors, what unfolded between the stars once the initial shock faded, is where things get even more interesting. Outside the venue, reporters swarmed Song Joong-ki. The flashes of cameras, the overwhelming voices asking, "Oppa, are you okay? Did you see them kiss?" only made his pain harder to conceal. He tried to remain composed, lowering his head, using short words to dodge the flood of questions. "No comment," he whispered, his voice breaking slightly, before his car whisked him away into the Seoul night. Fans watching the live stream noticed his trembling hands as he shut the car door, and their hearts shattered. Lovely viewers, can you feel the weight of that silence? Sometimes silence screams louder than words, and that night, Joong-ki's silence echoed across the world. Meanwhile, inside the ballroom, the kiss had set fire to the entire atmosphere. Some guests clapped, others gasped in disbelief, and a few even whispered, "Was that really supposed to happen?" Song Hye Kyo herself seemed caught between glowing joy and nervous hesitation. She touched her lips lightly, smiling shyly at Lee Min-ho, as if realizing the entire hall had just witnessed something deeply personal. Min-ho, on the other hand, remained composed yet proud, the type of man who knew what he wanted and wasn't afraid to claim it. He stood tall, his eyes locked on her, as though daring the world to challenge what just happened. Dear friends, imagine the intensity in that moment. If you were there, would you have clapped for the courage it took? Or would you have held your breath, worried about the heartbreak it left behind? These are the questions fans ask themselves, and they are the very same questions you can ask yourself now. The online space became an even bigger battlefield as the hours ticked on. Supporters of Hye Kyo flooded timelines, praising the pair for finally letting their feelings show. "This is destiny unfolding before our eyes," one fan wrote, while another said, "Minho's kiss was the bravest move of the decade." Yet others rushed to defend Song Joong-ki, sharing tearful compilations of his reactions with captions like, "Our Joong-ki deserves healing, and no man should have to witness this pain in public." It was as though the entire fan community had been split into two armies, those celebrating love and those mourning heartbreak. Inside sources later revealed even more. According to a close friend who spoke off-record, Minho had been planning to confess his feelings for Hye Kyo that night, though no one expected it to be so public. The kiss, though spontaneous, was his way of telling her and the world that he wasn't afraid anymore. On Hye Kyo's side, whispers suggest she had always admired Minho's courage but had never been ready to act on her feelings. The reunion, the energy, and that very moment tipped the balance, pushing her into uncharted emotional territory. Can you imagine what was racing through her heart? Perhaps confusion, perhaps relief, or maybe even a spark she had been suppressing for far too long. As for Song Joong-ki, close acquaintances claim that the sight of them together reopened wounds he thought were healed. His tears weren't just about jealousy. They were about memories, about what once was, and about the realization that love had truly moved on without him. One source explained, "It wasn't just Hye Kyo he lost that night. It was the final piece of closure he didn't want." And viewers, doesn't that feel so painfully human? Sometimes the hardest part of love is not when someone leaves, but when you see them loved by another. Later that night, after the party ended, Minho and Hye Kyo were spotted leaving together, hand in hand. Their smiles were soft, but their closeness was undeniable. Photographers caught every second, and the pictures spread like wildfire online. Fans commented on how gentle Minho looked, guiding her carefully to the car, while Hye Kyo seemed both radiant and shy, as though she couldn't believe what had just unfolded. On the other side of the city, however, Joong-ki was reportedly seen dining quietly with a close friend. His eyes swollen from crying, but his demeanor calm, as though he had finally accepted what fate had written. Lovely viewers, think about this. Doesn't this entire story feel like a movie script? A love triangle so intense, so raw, that it could easily be the plot of a blockbuster K-drama. Yet it isn't fiction. It's real, and that's what makes it so powerful. That night taught fans that love can heal, but it can also wound deeply. It can bring joy but also tears. But the aftermath didn't stop there. The next morning, news outlets ran headlines like, "Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo seal romance with kiss," and "Song Joong-ki in tears after reunion shock." Social media platforms couldn't stop buzzing. Memes, heartfelt tributes, video edits, and long posts flooded every corner of the internet. Some fans even admitted they cried watching the videos. One wrote, "I've never felt this emotional over people I don't personally know, but this hit me hard." Isn't that fascinating, dear friends? How love stories, even those not our own, can stir such deep emotions within us. Celebrities too weighed in subtly. Some liked posts supporting Minho and Hye Kyo, while others quietly offered comforting words to Joong-ki through interviews. Insiders reported that Joong-ki received a flood of supportive messages from colleagues, reminding him that he wasn't alone in his pain. Fans rallied, organizing online campaigns with hashtags like #StayStrongJoongki, proving that even in heartbreak, he still had millions standing beside him. Yet through it all, one thing was clear. Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo had crossed a line they couldn't go back from. That kiss wasn't just for them, it was for the world to see. And now the entire entertainment industry, along with fans worldwide, are waiting to see what comes next. Will they confirm their relationship publicly? Will Joong-ki finally share his side of the story? Or will silence remain the only answer, leaving fans to speculate endlessly. Now, my lovely viewers, I turn to you again. If you were Song Hye Kyo, would you embrace this new chapter with Min-ho despite the public storm? Or would you hold back out of respect for the man who once meant everything to you? And if you were Min-ho, would you stand firm in your bold move, knowing it brought tears to another man's eyes, or would you step back? These are not easy questions, but love rarely offers easy answers. And so, as the dust settles from that night, one truth remains. The reunion party wasn't just an event. It was the collision of past, present, and future. It was joy, pain, courage, and heartbreak all mixed into one unforgettable evening. And while tears were shed, while hearts broke, and while new love seemed to bloom, one thing is certain. We as fans will be here to witness every twist, every turn, and every emotion that follows. The reunion party became more than just a glittering event. It transformed into the epicenter of raw human emotions, leaving behind ripples that touched the lives of Lee Min-ho, Song Hye Kyo, and Song Joong-ki in ways none of them could have fully prepared for. We ended with the truth that while fans witnessed tears, heartbreak, and the bloom of new love, the story was far from over. Let us now dive deeper into what happened after, how each star coped, and how the world continued to react. Because, lovely friends, this is a tale that only grows more powerful the more we look closely at it. In the days following the reunion party, headlines around the world couldn't stop echoing the events of that night. Every major entertainment outlet replayed the kiss between Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo in slow motion, dissecting every detail. The way Min-ho leaned in with gentle determination, the way Hye Kyo's eyes softened as she accepted the moment, and the way the entire hall fell into stunned silence. On the other side, Song Joong-ki's reaction was equally scrutinized. Clips of him turning away, wiping his tears, and leaving the hall played alongside emotional captions like, "A man who loved too deeply," and "Heartbreak caught on camera." Fans could not stop debating. Was this the closure Joong-ki needed? Or was it a wound that would take years to heal? Lovely viewers, let's pause here and put ourselves in their shoes. Imagine being Joong-ki, knowing that thousands of cameras were not only capturing your pain but broadcasting it to millions. Can you imagine the heaviness of carrying not just your own heartbreak but also the sympathy of millions of strangers? Now flip the script. Imagine being Min-ho, knowing your kiss lit up the room with sparks but also caused tears in someone else's eyes. Would you still feel proud of your courage? Or would you wrestle with guilt? And what about Hye Kyo, standing between two men, one representing her past and another embodying a possible future? That, my dear friends, is the weight of love lived in the spotlight. Social media only added fuel to the fire. Some fans passionately supported Min-ho and Hye Kyo, dubbing them the new power couple. They made edits, romantic videos, and even artwork depicting the kiss as the start of a legendary romance. Others, however, threw their support behind Joong-ki, arguing that love should not be flaunted in a way that breaks another person so publicly. "There's a time and place for everything," one fan commented. That kiss should have been private. Joong-ki didn't deserve this humiliation. The debate raged on, creating one of the most divided moments in fan history. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, the emotions were even more intense. Insiders revealed that Joong-ki spent the night after the party with close friends who tried to console him. They described him as quiet, reflective, and deeply emotional. At one point, he was reportedly heard saying, "I thought I was past it, but maybe some wounds never truly heal." Those words struck a chord with fans everywhere, because who among us hasn't felt the sting of thinking we had moved on, only for the sight of someone we loved to pull us right back into the past? Lee Min-ho, on the other hand, was reportedly calm yet firm in his decision. He told a friend, "I couldn't hold back anymore. Life is too short to stay silent about what you feel." His words reveal a man who understood the risk of his action but was willing to face the consequences. Isn't that a kind of bravery many of us wish we had, lovely viewers? The bravery to act on love even when the world might judge us. And Song Hye Kyo, the woman at the center of it all, was said to be torn between happiness and concern. Friends close to her described how she smiled privately when recalling the kiss, as though it awakened something deep inside her. Yet at the same time, she worried about the fallout, particularly Joong-ki's reaction. Her heart, it seems, was pulled in two directions, toward a man who represented new beginnings and toward the lingering weight of a man she once promised forever to. Days later, Joong-ki finally broke his silence through a short statement. He didn't mention names, but his words were heavy with meaning. Some moments remind us of our humanity, our capacity to love, to hurt, and to heal. I ask for understanding and privacy as I walk this journey. Lovely viewers, how powerful are those words? Simple, yet they carried the strength of a man acknowledging his pain while still holding on to dignity. Fans around the world showered him with messages of encouragement, proving that while he may have felt broken that night, he was far from alone. Meanwhile, Min-ho and Hye Kyo chose silence. Neither of them confirmed nor denied a relationship. And that silence, in many ways, only fueled the fire more. Fans speculated endlessly. Were they secretly dating? Was the kiss spontaneous or rehearsed? Was it a spark of destiny or simply a reckless moment? Every sighting, every Instagram post, every public appearance from either of them was dissected for hidden clues. Lovely viewers, you know that feeling when you watch a drama and every tiny gesture feels like a clue to the next plot twist? That's exactly how fans were treating real life. Then came the interviews. Lee Min-ho, during a press conference for a new project, was asked about the kiss. Though he laughed nervously, his words left fans stunned. Sometimes actions speak louder than words.